Perfect. Thanks so much, Jackie. And hi, everybody. Congratulations on your acceptance into Wilkes. And we are so excited to talk to you today about student life and Wilkes Adventure Education. So one of the most incredible things I personally think about Wilkes is the aspect of involvement. So if you come to Wilkes and you have an idea that you want to do something or you want to join and be in any kind of extracurricular activities, Wilkes is 100% the place for you. We have so many ways for you to get involved and to be involved on campus, and we can fill up your schedule Monday through Sunday all day long to keep you involved. So I actually have a presentation I'm going to share with you, so I'm going to share my screen right now and just talk to you about the many ways that you can be involved in student development and in student activities at your time here at Wilkes. So one of the most important things is why should you get involved, right? So the college experience at Wilkes isn't just about what takes place in the classroom. Obviously, the classroom is very important. You are coming to college to get your education so that you can have a future for yourself. But we want to also provide countless opportunities to help you pursue your favorite activities, discover new interests, possibly refine skills that you have, and build those lifelong friendships that you will have in college. So getting and staying involved is one of the most important things you can do. It does not matter how involved you are, it only matters that you are. So you can involve yourself in one thing, or you can involve yourself in literally multiple things. It really is up to you as to how involved you would like to get. So some of the benefits that involvement offers is it helps to ease that transition from high school to college. Involved students are more likely to graduate and have an easier transition into the workplace. And also involved students feel more connected to their university, the campus, the people, and are familiar with the resources that the university provides. Involvement also helps you meet new people and make new friends that have similar interests. And being involved, without a doubt, will help you become better student leaders, learners, and citizens. So as a result of your involvement, you will gain knowledge, skills, and experience in leadership, problem solving, communication, group development and management, budgeting and finance even, presentation and public speaking, and so much more. So getting the most out of your experience at Wilkes University means getting involved. So to start, the Office of Student Development, we oversee and help organize clubs on campus. And we have over 80 active clubs on campus that range anywhere from a programming board that does weekly programming, student government, to smaller clubs such as games and media. We have a jiu-jitsu club. We have intramural sports. If you have an activity or an idea that you would like to find, I guarantee you Wilkes has it in terms of clubs. And if there is a club on campus that we don't have, the great part about it is you can form your own. So there are many steps in that process, but in terms of your interests, I guarantee you that we are able to provide it and that we have it here at Wilkes. So we encourage you to become involved in student life at Wilkes and to participate in the many activities that are offered. So I just mentioned one of the ways to get involved is to join a student club on campus. Another way to get involved at Wilkes is to take on a leadership role, such as an e-mentor or a resident assistant. And there are, I believe, my other colleagues have already or will be preparing presentations that you can join in during the week on both of those positions as well. You can volunteer through our Civic Engagement Office that's located on our second floor of our Henry Student Center, and I'll talk a little bit more about civic engagement in a few minutes. You can join Adventure Education and explore the outdoors, and my colleague here, Jill Price, will talk more about Adventure Education in just a few moments. You can attend concerts and events on campus. Every Thursday night, I had mentioned Programming Board hosts a Thursday night event in the Henry Student Center. They plan events such as bingo, they hold concerts, they do ping pong tournaments outside in the Greenway. You name an event that is creative. We do paint and sip. We have pet therapy that comes in. We'll bring dogs into campus. We had ghost hunters last semester. So they really try to plan for the students and take into account what you are looking for. And they offer free programming, 100% free programming every Thursday night for ways for you to get out of your dorms and get away from that, away from your studies for a little bit. You can also play intramurals or join a sports club sport team. You can attend the activities, the social activities planned by the Office of Student Development. So in student development, I am also considered the activities coordinator, and I'll talk about some of those activities, but it is my hope and one of my main jobs to take you guys off campus. So while there are plenty of opportunities for our students to get involved on campus, we want to take you away for a day or an overnight trip to get your mind off of things and to get you to see the surrounding areas. So I'll talk a little bit more about what those activities look like in a few moments. You can have a job on or off campus. Here at Wilkes, we do offer work-study jobs. So you can get a job on campus, or you can get a job at one of our local restaurants, or really any local business in the area that is hiring. You can study abroad or go on an alternative spring break trip, or you can also participate in research throughout your studies. So really, involvement doesn't just mean joining a club. There are many ways for you to get out there and get involved and to learn more about yourselves. So Club Day happens once a year, and this is where all those 80 clubs that I had previously mentioned, this is where they are showcased for one day. I think it's about a 3 to 4 hour event where you can come and walk around and meet every single club that is currently on campus and learn about what they do, what their missions are, what they do for volunteering. Every club is required to do volunteering throughout the semester and throughout the year. So you can truly learn the ins and outs about all of these clubs, and you'll probably leave Club Day a little overwhelmed wondering where you kind of fit in, but it's a great way for us to showcase all the clubs that we offer and for you guys to really gain an understanding of what you would like to join. So Club Day happens once a year. It's always in the fall and typically about the 3rd or 4th week once the semester starts. So definitely, if you decide to come to Wilkes, you definitely do not want to miss out on Club Day. It's one of the biggest days of the year in terms of our clubs, and making sure that all of your interests can be explained to you and you can know what you would like to join in and be involved in really from the start. So student development trips, so those student activities that I had mentioned to you. So we try to plan around semester, and it all really just depends on what's going on and new things are coming to the area or out of the area that we would like to take you to. So we typically in the fall always try to go to New York City and do a Broadway show. That has always been popular. This past semester we went to see Frozen 2 on Broadway. I can't believe I almost blanked on what we went to see, but we've seen Frozen, Waitress, we've taken it back old school and gone to see Phantom of the Opera. So it really just depends on what's going on, but we typically always like to do a Broadway trip to New York. We also went to New York this past fall, and we went to Dyker Heights in Brooklyn, which if any of you are from New York or you are obsessed with Christmas like I am, Dyker Heights is like a 10-block radius in the heart of Brooklyn that they deck out these homes and Christmas lights, and it's a really incredible sight to see. And we also paired that with axe throwing in Brooklyn. We've gone to the Bronx Zoo. I believe they've gone to the Philadelphia Zoo. We've done a Yankee game. We've done overnights to Boston and Washington, D.C. In the winter, we'll go snow tubing. We do a skiing trip. So really, like I said, these activities are truly to get you off campus. Some of them are local to Wilkes. We go to like a Sky Zone where you can get your inner kid out and jump around on trampolines for a few hours. But we really like to take you away and get your mind off of things and really just let you experience different opportunities that are in our surrounding area. You know, Wilkes is great because it's close enough where you can take day trips to Philadelphia, to New York, and to different cities that are within our distance. So like I said, you can sign up for these trips. Some of them are free, some of them are a small cost to you, but our information desk is located in the Henry Student Center on the 1st floor, and you can sign up for these trips. They are limited spots, just depending on how many tickets we get for each event, but they're always posted, and if you follow us on our social media, which I will provide to you at the end of this presentation, you will always know what's going on and when you can sign up for all of these events. So Wilkes Adventure Education, which is also Way, I do not want to steal her thunder with Jill, but this is our outdoor education program to get you in touch with your inner outdoorsy self. So I do not want to talk too much about this because Jill will definitely do a way better job of describing it than I will, but just know that that's soon to come. But it's also hosted through our office. So civic engagement, if you are somebody who loves to volunteer and give back to your community, the Office of Civic Engagement is definitely the place for you. And if you've never volunteered before, but you've always wanted to try it, it's also a place for you to visit and go. So we have connections with probably over 100 different agencies in our surrounding area where you can go to volunteer. And the Office of Civic Engagement gives students numerous opportunities to participate in service learning, whether it's through trips through our alternative spring break program or community outreach. So every spring break, they go to places like Costa Rica. They were just in Puerto Rico. They've been down to, there's a place down in Florida that helps with terminally ill children, and they put on shows and volunteer and take them to Disney World for a few days. So if you are somebody who likes to travel but also volunteer, definitely check out the Office of Civic Engagement. The service learning opportunities are amazing, and it's amazing how good you feel when you can give back to the community right here in your own backyard. And through our orientation, through summer orientation, there is a civic engagement piece as well as a way piece, which I meant to add or mention, that you will get a taste of what it's like to volunteer and give back to our local community in just a few short weeks with orientation. We also have a campus interfaith office, and this is a place where you can go to learn about all of the faith clubs on campus. And Kristen Ossapower, who runs our office, also has connections to all of our local faith churches, synagogues, and all the things that are related to faith in our area. And she also oversees our Colonel's Pantry, which is a food pantry that we offer on campus. So if you are somebody who takes interest in campus interfaith and wants to learn more about it, that office is run out of our department, and this Office of Student Development, and you can certainly join Kristen at any time and she can explain more about the services that she offers. So first year student orientation and e-mentoring. So we're coming up in about 2 weeks on our first session of orientation and our mentoring program. So orientation, there are 2 sessions. We are in a virtual format this summer due to obviously what's going on in our country right now. However, we are so looking forward to the new format and the way that we're going to be able to transform and translate this information to you guys. And it's going to feel like you are on campus. We run these orientations every year to get you acclimated to Wilkes University and to get you prepared and ready to come to college in the fall. And paired with orientation is our e-mentoring program run by our Director of Student Development, Melissa Howells. And the e-mentor program is where students get paired with a mentor to kind of help you through your first semester of college and help you transition and truly answer any questions that you have. So if you decide to come to Wilkes, you will be guaranteed to have an e-mentor for yourself and for your whole fall semester. So you can ask them any questions in terms of what's it like to dorm, what's the best meal plan to have, how can I talk about classes, what about scheduling. So your mentors are truly there for you every step of the way to ensure that your first year experience at Wilkes is top notch and that we are there for you all the way. So those are what those 2 programs are about. These are just some photos of our e-mentoring. So I did mention that we do some civic engagement and we call it Socialize the Wilkes Way at orientation. So some of these photos are just from orientation with our service learning projects and some of the activities that we do through Way. This is just our student development staff. So Dr. Phil Rothkowski is our Associate Dean of Student Development. Melissa Howells is the Director of Student Development. And I'm realizing as I'm doing this virtually that it would have probably been nice for you guys to have some photos of these individuals so you actually could identify who they are. But if you decide to come, you will soon get to know everybody, as we are a small university, but you truly get to know your staff and your faculty really, really well. And it's a great opportunity to engage and get to know everybody. So I'm Megan Pitts, the Student Activities Coordinator. Megan Boone-Valkenburg is our Civic Engagement Coordinator. Jill Price, our Adventure Education Coordinator, and Kristen Ossapower, who is our Interfaith Coordinator. And I truly encourage you, the one way, and I think your generation for sure, the one way for you guys to get involved and to learn about what's going on campus is to definitely follow us on social media. We have a very active Instagram, and for our parents out there, our Facebook page as well. So we post everything from all of our trips to orientation to really anything that we want to translate and have you guys understand and know. You'll definitely want to follow us on our social media. So I really encourage you to take those handles handles that you see right now on the screen, and go to your social media pages and follow us as soon as possible. That way you're not missing out, and you know exactly what to expect and what's going on a day-to-day in the Office of Student Development. So that's pretty much all I have in terms of how to get involved. I can just tell you that, you know, we want to make sure that your experience is the best possible, and we are here for you. And if you have any questions, or you know, aren't really sure how you want to get involved, and you don't really know where you fit, just know that you can truly reach out to any staff member in our office or on campus, and we will point you in the right direction and make sure that you feel comfortable and that you feel like you have a place here at Wilkes. We just really want you guys to get the best experience, and we hope to see you soon, and we hope that you choose to come to Wilkes and join that feeling, and just, you know, have a great rest of your summer. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Well, Megan, thank you so much for that great overview of all the things, all the ways, I guess, that our students can get involved at Wilkes. It's truly endless, and I really appreciate you doing that for us today. We don't have any questions right now, but we may have some later once Jill is done with her presentation. So I'm going to toss it over to Jill, and just a reminder, if you guys do have any questions, of course, use our Q&A feature. Go ahead, Jill. Thanks.
Thanks, Jackie, and thanks, Megan. Welcome to Wilkes, and maybe potentially welcome to Wilkes. I'm Jill Price, and I am the Adventure Education Coordinator. So Wilkes Adventure Education goes by the acronym WAY, and we really love to play on that acronym. As Jackie and Megan both said, there are so many ways for you to be involved at Wilkes. And one of those ways is to come and join me and the students who have built up Wilkes Adventure Education over the past 7 years. So I'd like to give you a little background about me and how I came to experiential education, and then a little brief background about WAY, and then I'll tell you what we do now and where we would like to go in the future. So for me, I grew up about 1 mile away from Wilkes University in the Heights section of Wilkes-Barre. It's technically considered like a little city neighborhood. So when I grew up playing on the streets, on the asphalt, tiny backyards. I had no idea that the world, and including the areas around Wilkes-Barre within 45 minutes, has these incredible outdoor playgrounds that are on the trails and in the woods and on the rivers, until I went away to college and was exposed to an outdoor program. And my first encounter with going outside to play had left a lasting impact. So much so that when I graduated college, I went to go work at a summer camp on a ropes course. It was a Boy Scout camp, which I didn't know until they told me I needed a uniform about 24 hours beforehand. And I thought I was just going for 5 weeks after college to be outside before starting a real job. And that lasted 7 years working at camp. And I've been in the field of experiential education ever since, which is about 20 years now. The reason that I've stayed in experiential education is because hands-on experiences have taught me so many things. They've taught me about myself. They've taught me emotional intelligence, which is how I can connect and relate to other people. Experiential ed has taught me a deep appreciation for the environment that we have, and has allowed me to invest in ways to preserve it so that my children, my grandchildren, 5 generations to come can still have the opportunity to go outside and play. I've learned a tremendous amount about leadership. When I started working at that Boy Scout camp, I had no leadership experience. I was usually coming in sort of last minute on flames. Yeah, I'm here for the good time. And when they said I was in charge, I really had no clue how to be in charge. And so by doing it, I learned through trial and error how to be a more effective leader. So if you fast forward from all the years at camp, and then I had a son, and then I was ready for a full-time job, and one opened at Wilkes. And when I got to Wilkes, the adventure education program was mostly a climbing program. So we have a great indoor facility. We have an indoor rock wall. We have an indoor ropes course. And the person who was running the program had a fierce love for outside rock climbing as well. And so when I arrived, the program was mostly climbing and a bit of the ropes course. The cool thing about becoming a leader of a program is that you get to grow it in the ways that you love as well. And so I took that program and I started to find the students, or really those students found me. The students who wanted to do other things, including climbing, and we started to hike. We started to hike through all 4 seasons. And we started just around Wilkes because I wanted the students to know that even if they weren't on a hike with me, if they loved it, they could go back on a day off, or they could, when their family comes to visit, you know, you could take your family to these places. And so we started just within the 45 minutes of Wilkes, hiking, biking, camping. I mean, Francis Slocum State Park is an awesome place to go camping. And so we started to build our gear closet, and we started to go out and take adventures. We also started to bring more and more people onto our ropes course on campus. And the students began to develop their facilitating skills. So we call that facilitation when you come together and there's a group that wants to do team building. And sometimes it's on the ground, sometimes it's in the air. But our job as facilitators is to reach the goals and the objectives of the group, as well as create this sort of good time that makes people want to come back. And so the students go through training and preparation, and we play tons and tons and tons of tag. And it looks like it's just playing tag. It looks ridiculously fun. It feels ridiculously fun. Most people think that in way we only play, and we do. We play really, really hard. But the transformation that happens, not only with the group, but as an individual who's facilitating a group, that transformation is continuously endless. And as soon as you sort of reach a new growth, when you sink back in, you know, maybe a year later, you feel another new growth. And it kind of gets catchy. So we believe in way that the magic happens outside of your comfort zone. And so we put ourselves in a position where we choose to be slightly uncomfortable in good ways, taking positive risks so that we can experience that magic feeling of transformation. And to give you a little example for me, because I really believe that in order to be an effective leader, I've got to practice what I preach. And after 20 years of playing tag and facilitating and taking all these kinds of trips, I was kind of feeling rusty on what would scare me a little bit. But my students reminded me that I said once that I wanted to write a book. So it terrified me to sign up for the Masters of Creative Writing at Wilkes. But I knew that if it scared me in a good way, it was probably something that I needed to do. And I needed to do it to show my students that if I'm asking you to go outside of your comfort zone, which might be just walking up to the way students and asking, hey, when's the next trip? For someone, that might be way outside of their comfort zone. And for others, leading a trip might be outside of your comfort zone, or going and representing us at a conference might be outside of your comfort zone. But if I'm going to encourage you to do that, then I've got to do it too. And so good news is I just finished that program, and it took me a lot longer than I thought. It was a lot harder than I thought. But the growth that I received and the encouragement that I received from the students to keep trying was this amazing reminder that experiential education is not just about Instagram pictures that look hardcore. Like, Instagram pictures of you at the Grand Canyon are amazing, but the real magic happens when you sit in my office and you help figure out what trail we're going to hike at the Grand Canyon, or what food we're going to eat on our 5 days out on our trip. And so as you're thinking about coming to Wilkes, or maybe you've already decided you want to come to Wilkes, I want you to know that way is a program, and it's not a club. So you can come and do just one thing with us in 4 years and still say that you've participated in Wilkes Adventure Education. That one thing could be a break-long trip, or it could be one afternoon, but that it's an invitation for you to come outside of your comfort zone and then experience the magic that we do. And so when we started this Wilkes Adventure Ed on a path towards doing more than than climbing and more than hiking, we extended into break trips. And these break trips happen every single time because one student will say, so Jill, I really want to go to ... right? So think about where you want to go to. Like, where's a place that you have wanted to see, not on Instagram photos, but like with your own eyes up close? And so the first one was the Grand Canyon. But then they also said, we don't want to fly, we want to take a cross-country road trip. So 8 students, my supervisor, Missy Howells, me, and my son, Gus, who was 8 at the time, we piled into 2 blacked out Suburbans, and we looked like the Secret Service driving to and from the Grand Canyon. And we had walkie-talkies, and we have all these sort of guidelines in place to do these things safely, right? So part of my job is to educate students how to drive in a caravan on a highway together, how the back car puts on the blinker and like gets over to like make the space for all the cars in front to fall into place. And they might sound like silly little things, but to our students, those are our legacies, right? Those are our traditions. We have call signs on the walkie-talkies now, and call signs that have lasted ever since. You know, if you come to Wilkes and you get involved, then you'll know who Maverick is, and his call sign is Boss Man. And you would get to know me and my call sign, which is Mama Bear. So we drove all the way out to the Grand Canyon. We stopped in 15 different states. We were to 4 or 5 different national parks or national monuments to explore. So we slept over at the Grand Canyon at the top. We went camping. It was very cold at night in early March, just in case you're planning to go on your own. You need a very warm sleeping bag. But we stopped in New Mexico, and we got to stay at a cabin. We went to the White Sands National Monument, and we got these sleds, and we waxed them up on the bottom and slid down. And so we live a lot along these lines: plan to adapt, right? So we knew that we had a plan to go to the White Sands National Monument, but we had no idea that they had sleds in the gift shop. So we had to plan to adapt, right? We were going to stay there for a shorter time, but then once we saw the opportunity that was available, we made the group decision to stay longer. And some of our best photos from that trip that I have are from our students, like surfing down these big sand dunes with these huge smiles on their face. And, you know, we made it out there, we made it back safely. And then the students said, okay, that was great. We want to do something again. So that was the growth. That was the beginning of our growth for our break trips. We've been to Ireland. We've been back to the Grand Canyon most recently. We've been to the West Coast, where we flew into California and drove up to Portland, because one thing we've discovered is that a road trip within whatever trip we're on makes for some of the best friendships and relationships with the people on the trip. And so if you become a part of WAY, you join us for some of the adventures that we go on, you have the opportunity to make lasting friendships, deep lasting friendships. You know, people who in 10 years, if you come up with this crazy idea of like somewhere you want to go, like 2 of the former alumni who haven't seen each other in a couple of years, both just called me and said, we're going to go on this trip because I can't find anybody else that will like say yes, but I know that the WAY people will say yes, because there's an element of trust that goes with it. You know that if somebody's saying yes to go on a trip with you, that they've been trained, they've been exposed. You know, part of adventure education is to take adventures, but to be educated about it so that you can do it in a safe way and come home with great stories to tell. So as we started to grow the break trips, start to go internationally, on campus, we continue to grow in our collaborations. We work a lot with athletic teams. We do campus-wide training for faculty, for administration, for all kinds of groups. I think when we did the numbers last fall, we had engaged with more than 1,500 people on campus for Wilkes Adventure Education in just one semester. And so we really do have our little way tentacles almost widespread around campus, which is amazing for us. We get incredible exposure to getting to know the heartbeat of campus through the eyes of the people who are there. So on campus, we do things like roasted bananas. That's kind of our traditional snack. I'm not going to tell you how to do it because I want you to come and find out for yourself. We have Way Day as kind of like our introduction to Way, but then as you get to Wilkes as a facilitator, it becomes your summer peak experience. And Way Day is when we have incoming students and we take you to an outdoor location where we hike, we do climbing, we do boating, we make tie-dyed pillowcases, we might make our own snacks, and we definitely have a ridiculous campfire that we put on ourselves. And so Way Day has become a tradition of its own. I mean, last year we had 16 facilitators, and that was our largest group of students. We often have alumni who return on a regular basis to be part of our trips and to be part of Way Day. Some of the other things that we do are regular, consistent programming. Yoga is one of them. We go to a local hot yoga studio every Sunday night from 6:30 to 7:30, and you can sign up for yoga. It will likely be $30 for the entire semester. You can come once, you can come the 12 times that we have sessions. You don't ever have to have done hot yoga before coming. And some students, that is the one activity that they know about Way, and that's all they know about Way, but they still get to say that they've participated in Way because of that. The love of yoga, so I became a yoga instructor a few years ago, and our love for yoga within Way has grown this past semester to a trip to the Himalayan Institute. So if you may have heard of the Himalayan Institute from Neti Pots, because they make them on site there. And the Himalayan Institute is a yoga retreat. We were by far the youngest people there. We had to practice in like being quiet and meditating, and we had our own little cabin so that we could make noise at night, but we ordered chai cookies and hot cocoa, and we got to be exposed to a world that we were entirely unfamiliar with. And so many of the students who returned from that trip felt deeply connected to themselves at the end of it, and then began to have more yoga experiences. And so we really do believe, so one of those things, that the magic happens outside the comfort zone. We also believe that one thing you cannot recycle is wasted time. And so if there's something that you're thinking about doing, like we had been thinking about going to the Himalayan Institute, it was kind of expensive. So then we decided, like, well, wait, why wait to go there? Let's raise the funds. Let's become intentional about it. Let's make it happen. And I'm glad to say now that students would like to go back. Staff and faculty would like to join us to go back, really bringing this world together and sharing an experience. So that goes along with our other saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Back to the trips and me asking you where you want to go. If you are coming to Wilkes or you're seriously considering it, I want you to come with a piece of paper in your pocket that has a list of things that you want to do that you would consider adventurous. It doesn't have to be outside. It doesn't even have to be physical. You know, one student really wanted to put on an essential oil sugar scrub make and take. And she pulled it off. Like, it was way outside of her comfort zone to do that. She had 42 students in the student lounge making these sugar scrubs with like coconut sugar and essential oils that smelled amazing. And people remembered it. Now, people remembered it and they loved it, but for her, she realized in that moment she could plan something. She had an idea. She learned how to plan it. She put posters up. She recruited help. She came for setup. She put it all together. And then she was able to reap the rewards of seeing her hard work come to fruition. So Was it physical? No. Was it something that you would see as like outdoorsy? Not really. But she definitely found the magic outside of her comfort zone. So if you can dream it, we can do it. But I can promise you this, I'm not going to do it for you. So the whole part of experiential education is for you to learn the process so that when you leave Wilkes, whether it's for a break, whether it's after you've graduated, you don't need me. Your phone calls to me are like, guess what I just did? Guess what I'm taking my family to go do? Guess where me and my friends are headed? But you don't need me to do it. In that sense, you've taken the time to learn how to adventure in a safe way. You've learned how to research to go, even if you don't think that you can afford it. You know, we went to Ireland for the very first time. We planned our own trip. We drove ourselves around the country. We hiked, we explored, because we also really love cities. We believe that venturing through cities and eating the food of the town is adventurous. But we ate a lot of peanut butter and jellies so that we could actually go to Ireland. That was a group consensus. This is where we want to go. This is how much is in our budget. This is what we're willing to sacrifice. This is what we want to splurge on. And in doing that, we have really well-rounded trips. You learn how to be in a group. I would be foolish to tell you that conflict doesn't come up when you're spending, well, you know this well, right? Since this pandemic has happened, you've probably spent more time in a confined space with people all the time. And so what part of What Way teaches you is how to be an effective group member, how to work through conflict, how to help meet the needs of other people while also knowing what your own needs are. I help to teach students like who's cranky when they're tired, who gets hangry. That's important to know. Like I need to know if you get hangry, which means you get angry when you're hungry on a trip, because I mean, I'll be truthful. I don't really want to deal with miserable people on trips. So I empower you to know more about yourself. And you'll see me go to bed often earlier because I get cranky. I get angry when I'm tired. But those subtle little things help to train you for the rest of your life in whatever it is that you want to do. And so off-campus trips, on-campus, different events, regular consistent programming that you can show up for on your own and leave. We have a gear closet that you can borrow gear from. And then the direction that we're headed is this. We are looking now to head more into backpacking. We're looking to do more student training, exposing our students to certified trainings. And then we are looking to come back around to where Way was when I first started and now really begin to explore off-site climbing trips, because we have a student who is a bonus senior who will be around for 2 more years, who has the experience, the knowledge, the maturity, and the interest to grow the rock climbing program again, this time a little bit farther off. So student-led trips, training, and really leaning into where students want to go with the Way program. We have a solid foundation. We love to say that we are all inclusive, so it doesn't matter if you are a former athlete not knowing what to do with your physical energy, if you're not playing a sport at Wilkes, or if you sign up for a sport at Wilkes and then decide that it's not right for you, you don't have to leave and go home. You can bring all that into Way. If you have a background in scouting, Way is often a comfortable place for you to be. If you love nature, if you are totally awkward and you don't know what to do, we are a great bunch to be around because a lot of us are very awkward. Many of my students are introverted. I might seem pretty extroverted, but I like my quiet time as well. And so we are really just this mishmash of people that come together with a shared passion. And that passion is to keep finding that magic that feels good in a positive way. So we'll welcome any kind of questions that you have. If you want me to be a little more specific about some of our trips or what we do. But I just want you to know that there is so much to be explored at Wilkes. within your own environment of where you are right now in preparation of coming to Wilkes. If you get curious to explore your surroundings, there's just really great joy that comes with it. So thanks, Jackie.
Oh, that was awesome. Thanks, Jill, so much for that great explanation and a little bit of the history of how WAY came to be and what it is now. And I think it's just really great what you and Megan are both doing for our students. Super interesting, and you make me want to go out there and go for a hike or something right now. So just, I guess, we don't have any questions right now, but I did have a question, I thought of as we were chatting. How will you guys introduce each of your programs at orientation? Like maybe you can give some of the students here a little preview, if you can, as to, what they can expect from, your programs at orientation.
Sure, I can answer that. So we are still currently developing our schedule for orientation, but I do know that we do plan on having similar broadcasts like the webinar that you are on now, so that you guys can actually have face-to-face interaction with staff, with faculty, and with students. So you're going to see a lot from your mentors. The mentors are going to be a big part of making this orientation experience an awesome one for you guys. So you can just expect to see us again, expect to see a lot of us over the 5-day course of your orientation, whether you choose the first session or the second session. But it's going to be a lot of face-to-face. There's going to be some pre-recorded videos for you to tune back into if you can't make a session and you want to go back, kind of like how this virtual accepted students week is. You can always go back and see what was discussed. So I don't want to give too much away, because I wanted to entice you to join, to come to Wilkes and to come to our orientation sessions. But just know that you will have the opportunity to engage and interact with staff, with faculty, and with students as well.
That's awesome. That'll be so great for our students to just get some of that FaceTime with you guys, and probably a little bit more interactive than what we're doing here now. So I'm sure that they're all really looking forward to that. It seems like you guys have basically covered everything about, all the things that our students want to know about student activities and adventure education at Wilkes. So I think with this, we can, wrap it up. I just want to remind everyone that if you did have a question about, for Jill or Megan, reach out to your admissions counselor. We're happy to put you in touch with them in a quick second. So, we're all working from home, but we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So I think, if you guys had any questions at all, you can reach out to them personally. We're happy to facilitate that through the admissions department.
And Jackie, if people are interested in seeing what Wilkes Adventure Education is up to, they can follow us on Instagram, Wilkes Adventure Education, as well as on Facebook. And those are our student-led social media channels, which is why they're pretty cool.
Awesome. And I just added that to the chat.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And we'll be having different contests over time, and people are welcome to get involved.
Well, thank you both so much for being here and taking the time out of your day to go over each of your areas of expertise with our incoming class. We are so excited to have them and to connect you guys with them. I think it's going to be a fantastic Wilkes journey for them. So thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.